Okay, so moving on, we have Aeromonas, and just like your Vibrio, they're also found in aquatic environments. And yes, they are ubiquitous in nature, but mostly in aquatic environments. Still the same freshwater, estuarine, or marine water. So they're also oxidase positive, glucose fermenters, gram-negative bacilli. This time, the shape is more of a straight rod than your Vibrio, which is curved rod. They are also motile, but usually via only a single polar flagell. Okay, so for the additional properties of Aeromonas, we have two groups based on their atmospheric or basically temperature requirement. We have the mesophilic group, which thrive at 37 degrees Celsius. Namely, you are Aeromonas hydrophila complex, Veronii complex, and Caviae complex, all of which are motile. Then we also have the psychrophilic group, which prefers colder temperature. This is 22 to 25 degrees Celsius, which is the room temperature. We have naman Aeromonas salmonicida, which is non-motile. Okay, so for the infections caused, first we have intestinal infections. So we use the spool as our specimen, and the main cause of this intestinal infection is aquatic exposure. So either through ingestion of contaminated water or food products, no, like mga seafoods again. So the most frequently isolated bacteria or species is Aeromonas caviae. For the types of diarrhea, actually it could vary, no? We have the acute type. When you say acute, short term and sudden gid ang pag-start niya. Acute secretory diarrhea, also known as watery diarrhea with vomiting. Then we have acute dysenteric form, which is bloody diarrhea, similar to shigellosis. Chronic diarrhea, which is more of a gradual start but long-term siya, which lasts for more than 10 days na diarrhea. Fourth, we have the cholera-like disease, which has naman a rice water na stool. And the fifth is nebulous syndrome, which is also commonly mistaken as traveler's diarrhea. Okay, so these are the 5 presentations of diarrhea as caused by our Aeromonas. For extraintestinal infections, it's also capable of causing infections outside the gastrointestinal tract. So we have the most invasive one is septicemia, meaning the presence of the bacteria now in the blood. Then we have meningitis and wound infections naman, of course, usually commonly get caused through trauma or traumatic injury, or pwede man cellulitis, no, common in drug addicts, mga drug abusers, and when using leech for or for medicinal therapy. That is, if the leech, no, is not clean and properly cultured, because there are some types of medicine that use do naturopathic medicine. They use leeches to clean the wound site. Naka silang ga-eat up some pus and dead ng mga cells. So if these leeches are not clean man, and often they are taken from water man na sources, and may bacteria tang Aeromonas, this can also lead to wound infections. Okay, so for our appearance of colonies, we have large, round, raised, opaque colonies with an entire edge and smooth mucoid na surface. It has an extremely strong odor. I'm not sure about the odor because wala man na-indicate sa book and wala man tadi actually. Hindi man common si Aeromonas in our setting. Then the color could range from translucent, that is medyo colorless siya, then white, and then to buff, which is light yellow colored. They are lactose fermenters, no, our Aeromonas. And for our recommended selective medium or media, we have ampicillin SBA, that's sheep blood agar incorporated with ampicillin. And we have modified CIN, cefsulodin ergasan novobiocin agar 2, which has the highest also recovery and the appearance of our Aeromonas, mga pink-centered colonies. Okay? So that's your Aeromonas in SBA, ampicillin SBA. As you can see, medyo ano siya, off-white, no, or buff in color. And that's in your CIN2. Medyo hindi clear. This is the only picture I can derive from the internet. Basta pink-centered ang colonies on your CIN. Okay, additional screening tests to perform. Again, oxidase test because they are all oxidase positive in this chapter. We can perform also spot indole tests. They are positive, no, for Aeromonas, and growth in nutrient broth with 0% sodium chloride because your Aeromonas can also thrive in fresh water, no, without salt. Okay, so that's it for our Aeromonas. Next up, we have Plesiomonas, which is again a member of our Enterobacteriaceae family. This is the only oxidase-positive member. So, of course, it's a glucose fermenter, facultative anaerobe, gram-negative bacilli. Also motile by polar flagella. And na-mention na naman niya. Next is the only species, there's only one species, and that is Plesiomonas shigelloides. So, you're familiar na that it is similar to your Shigella. That's why it's Shigelloides. Now, only present in fresh and estuarine waters. So, first infection, of course, is still gastroenteritis via ingestion of contaminated food or water. And 3 naman iya nga types of presentation. We have the common one, which is watery or secretory diarrhea. Second is the subacute or chronic, which lasts between 14 days up to 2 to 3 months. No, amo na siya kalawig ang imong diarrhea. And number 3 is the more invasive dysenteric form, which means there is presence of blood in the stool. For other outside naman of the intestine infections, we have bacteremia also or septicemia, and meningitis mainly due to occupational exposure. Okay, so it's also straight gram-negative rod. They are non-spore formers and they do not have capsules. They are motile by Monotrichus, that's only one, or 2 to 5 Lophotrichus flagella. And that's why ginpangalanan ang species name as Shigelloides because it shares similar antigenic and biochemical features with Shigella. Even with the infection, di ba, makakause man siya some dysentery. For the colony appearance, we have shiny, opaque, non-hemolytic colonies with slightly raised center and a smooth and entire edge, meaning makit-anggit and smooth ang edge. They are delayed lactose fermenters. Slow lang sila mag-ferment lactose. And the recommended culture medium naman for Plesiomonas is IBGBS, no, inositol brilliant green bile salts, agar. The color of the colony is white to pink color. They do not grow on TCBS, which is again for Vibrio, but they can grow naman on CIN, which is for Aeromonas. Okay, so that's it for Plesiomonas. And the last for this chapter is Campylobacter. Campylobacter is not that often seen in aquatic environments, but we will discuss it here because it's also oxidase positive. Plus, it also causes gastroenteritis, no? Especially for, which is common sa among mga organisms in chapter 20. Okay, so Campylobacter is also a zoonotic agent. It causes abortion, especially in domestic animals like mga cats and dogs. No, but for humans, ang common tanga species nga cause disease in humans is Campylobacter jejuni. So, sa ER na mismo sa species name, it causes gastroenteritis. Okay, which is the most common cause of bacterial gastroenteritis worldwide. So, the transmission is via direct contact, especially with the animals na infected, or consumption of products nga may contaminated by the bacteria, whether water, man, or food. And C. jejuni also plays a role in what you call as Guillain-Barré syndrome or GBS. This is a type of paralysis often sa half of the body, and this one is often also associated with Epstein-Barr virus, but it could also be associated with bacteria. So, the GBS, this syndrome, can be brought about by your C. jejuni infection. Okay? And that's our C. jejuni. Next, we go to Helicobacter pylori, after which we'll discuss their laboratory identification. Helicobacter, not helicopter, no. Helicobacter pylori because it's, ano siya, helical in shape or appearance. Okay? Or siya sa background picture nila. This is naman niya the major cause of type B gastritis, which is known as a chronic superficial gastritis. Basically, inflammation of the intestines or of the stomach. Okay, if you remember, H. pylori is the only bacteria that can survive stomach acidity. So, dira siya cause infection sa stomach and can lead to inflammation of the stomach as well as to ulcers. Now, gastric ulcers, if left untreated, can progress to gastric carcinoma. Okay? So, for our lab diagnosis, for C. fetus, subspecies fetus, which also can cause infections in humans, siya niyang cause abortion in domestic animals. Campylobacter fetus, subspecies fetus, we often use blood for our specimen. Then Campylobacter species naman niya that cause enteric illnesses like C. jejuni, we use the stool as our specimen. Again, do not use buffered glycerol saline because it's toxic to our bacteria. For H. pylori naman, we can perform gastric biopsy. Okay? So samples may be transported in cystine Brucella broth with 20% glycerol and frozen at negative 70 degrees Celsius. That is for prolonged transportation. Okay, for the recommended culture media, which are only selective for our Campylobacter, we have the CampiBap. So instead of nutrient agar na base, it uses Brucella agar base with 10% of sheep red blood cells and additional antimicrobials to make it more selective. We have the Butzler medium, the Skyros medium, and we have CCDA, which is charcoal cephaloperazone deoxycholate agar. That's for Campylobacter. For incubation, C. jejuni is more of a thermophile. It requires 42 degrees Celsius, while C. fetus subspecies fetus naman 37 degrees Celsius. So, ang common naman niya or ang similar sa duwa, Campylobacter and Helicobacter, they are more of capnophiles and microaerophiles. They require lower concentration of oxygen and increased concentration of carbon dioxide. Specifically, Campylobacter requires 5% oxygen, 10% carbon dioxide, and the remainder is nitrogen. While for Helicobacter, medyo taas ang oxygen gamay, 5 to 10%, and carbon dioxide is 5 to 12%. Okay, so for our presumptive identification, for our microscopic appearance, Campylobacter is a bit curved, non-spore-forming gram-negative rod, while for the common ones that cause enteric infection, like C. jejuni, mas laba siya nga spirals. Okay? So, similar gid siya kay Helicobacter. So, S-shape, also described as seagull wings shape. The recommended counter stain is not safranin but carbofuscin for Campylobacter staining. They are capable of motility, but it's darting motility. No, I don't have a picture of or a video of darting motility. No, and for colony appearance, it's moist, runny-looking, spreading colonies, non-hemolytic in BAP, sometimes tan or slightly pink in color. Okay, so that's the electron micrograph of our Campylobacter nga enteric, longer spirals. And these are the colonies, no, moist, runny looking. So, hindi siya muna ka round, no, perfectly round ang niya shape. Medyo flat siya, no. And this is the actual gram stain, gram-negative rod. Hindi na siya gram-positive, though, no lang. So, that's why carbofuscin ang iyang counter stain para ma-accept niya more ang counter stain. Okay? Then, additional biochemical test, oxidase test, it's positive. Motility, you can use Brucella or trypticase soy broth. And also positive na siya for hipurate hydrolysis, just like bala atong sa kay group B strep. No, so we use sodium hippurate as our substrate. We are looking for the enzyme hippuricase. If it's positive, it will convert our sodium hippurate, no, into our byproducts and producing a purple color. Positive result. So Campylobacter is positive for hippurate test. Okay. Well, for our Helicobacter, we have an important test for that. We have the urease test. This is very significant for its identification because it is rapidly urease positive. We use the Christensen's urea medium, either the agar, no, or the broth, and incubate only for 2 hours at 37 degrees Celsius. And positive result is pink color. Okay, we can also perform the urea breath test. This one is medyo radioactively labeled ni siya. And it's using carbon-14 or carbon-13, which is bound to our urea. And usually nakakapsule na siya ang urea, so tunlon na siya sa patient, and eventually metabolize na siya and ma-liberate, no, si carbon from our label bound to our oxygen to form carbon dioxide. So ma-exhale ka sa carbon-14, carbon-13 labeled na CO2, which is then measured by our gamma scintillation counter. So through our breath, no, dira ta ma-exhale bali ang radioactive label. So that is how to check that the urea here is actually broken down by the bacteria in our stomach. Okay? So kung taas ang radioactivity levels brought about by increase in the CO2 nga may radioactive nga activity, so it means damo ka bacteria nga Helicobacter in your stomach that really converts or broke down the urea there. Okay? So that's another man nga test to identify Helicobacter. And this one is your urease test. This is agar, Christensen's urea agar. So you can see the positive entire nag-turn pink, negative no change. But for rapidly positive, which is for Helicobacter pylori, dili lang siya asta na pink. Kikadasig sa iya mag-act on urea, dili lang a part ang iya nga na convert tanan, no, into your byproducts, turning to pink color. Okay? So I think that's it for our chapter 20 for our Vibrio, Campylobacter, Aeromonas, and Plesiomonas. Okay, so we'll continue now with chapter 21, which are your non-fermenters, and we will add your negative no nga mga miscellaneous, I mean nga gram-negative bacilli. Okay. So for okay, so wala siya nag-pause. It's okay. Let's continue. So for the general characteristics of our non-fermenters, they are not able not to ferment your sugars. So the OF test, negative siya, especially sa fermentative na tube. So the one overlaid with mineral oil. Or they also fail to acidify your triple sugar iron agar, itong TSI. So we can classify actually your non-fermenters either as oxidizers, meaning in the presence of oxygen lang sila makagamit sa carbohydrates, or those that totally do not react or do not metabolize carbohydrates. We call them non-oxidizers or asaccharolytic mga bacteria. Okay? Or biochemically inert. Okay, so they are motile. All of them, no, they have usually a color to their colonies. They are mostly oxidase positive, and they are also found ubiquitous in nature, especially moist environments. So that's again our OF test, no, for atong overlaid ang isa with mineral oil, and the positive result again is color yellow. Okay, so this one bacon oxidative fermentativeness, so fermentative lang siya. Kung both may yellow, both oxidative and fermentative, if both remain green, non-oxidizer or asaccharolytic. Okay, So what are the risk factors that can predispose a person to develop infections caused by our non-fermenters? We have immunosuppression if they have an underlying condition like mga chronic diseases that weaken their immune system. If they have been exposed to trauma or may injury sa body. If there's a foreign implant or prosthetic device na gin-implant inside the body. And number 4, if na-infusan sila fluids like IV or intravenous fluids, I mean, like your dextrose. Okay? So, for their general appearances and microscopic appearances, they are thin gram-negative bacilli or coccobacilli. They are all oxidase positive. They are usually negative or non-reactive in our common nga mga biochemical tests, especially those used for Enterobacteriaceae. This one is very important for our biochem test, the TSI, agar. They are usually non-reactive. So wala sang change or they do not produce acid in either the butt, neither the butt nor the slant, no, of the agar. TSI, ang former niyang version is Kligler's iron agar or KIA. And most of them are resistant to a variety of antimicrobial agents. Okay? So, for their microscopic exam, mga thin gram-neg gina sila yan, appear gina sila pink or red under the microscope, and they are definitely bacilli or coccobacilli. Okay? So, this one, among gining common sa ilang TSI result. This one is the TSI original due to your phenol red, no, orange siya, but slant. Often, they turn the TSI into red or no change at all. It remains orange. We report that as K over K, alkaline over alkaline, meaning wala siya nag-acidify, no, wala siya nag-yellow. So, wala yung nagamit ang 3 sugars in TSI, which are sucrose, lactose, and glucose. Okay? For our clinically significant species now we have the fluorescent Pseudomonad group, Acinetobacter, Stenotrophomonas multifila, Burkholderia, and your Moraxella and Oligella. Okay, first is Pseudomonas. This is a gram-neg bacilli or coccobacilli. They are also motile with polar or polar tufts of flagella, pwede isa lang, monotrichous or leucotrichous. Except for Burkholderia male, which is the former name niya is Pseudomonas male. Okay? They are oxidase and catalase positive. Oxidase and catalase positive. And they grow on your McConkey agar, but they are non-fermenters. Okay? They are oxidizers, meaning non-fermenters, of course, but they can either oxidize or do not use good sugars at all. So, the most important species is Pseudomonas aeruginosa, which is a common cause of nosocomial respiratory tract infections. Other diseases nga ginakos niya, we have bacteremia with eczema gangrenosum of the skin. We have also wound infections, pulmonary disease like cystic fibrosis, nosocomial UTI, endocarditis, and common din siya sa mga burn or trauma infections. Okay, that's eczema gangrenosum of the skin, accompanying bacteremia, though medyo ga-gangrene man nga wound and ga-ulcerate man nga wound. And also common for them is actually their wound, no, ang pus, balong abscess nila, not yellow, but more of a yellow-green color. No, kita na kamo na sang yellow-green nga na. It indicates there is Pseudomonas na bacteria in the wound. Or common man sa mga pulmonary infections, common gid no kung ang color sang sputum is yellow-green as well or green, could mean that Pseudomonas is also present in the pulmonary infection. Okay? So it's the third also the most common cause of gram-negative bacillary bacteremia after E. coli, which is the first most common. Second is Klebsiella pneumoniae. Other less serious infections, we have otitis externa, also known as swimmer's ear. No, diri lang siya sa sagwa nga part, kay common sila ba, diba? Permi lang gababad sa water. And Pseudomonas is also present sometimes in mga pools and bodies of water or moist environment. Okay? We also have necrotizing skin rash, also known as jacuzzi or hot tub syndrome. So it gives you now an idea that Pseudomonas is a thermophile. So even in hot tubs, jacuzzis, present siya. So hindi man namin mag-dip gidlawig, no? Especially higpo ang water. This can lead to skin rash. And infections of nail beds in people who wear artificial nails. Okay, that's example of jacuzzi syndrome. Basically, ano siya, may necrotizing skin rash. Okay, for the virulence factors of Pseudomonas aeruginosa, it produces an endotoxin, basically because it's a gram-negative bacteria. Motile siya, it has a pili, it's capsulated, and produces exotoxins such as protease, hemolysins, lecithinase, elastase, and DNase. Exotoxin A is the most important toxin which blocks protein synthesis. Okay, for our fluorescent Pseudomonas group, meaning they're able to flourish under UV light, we have the three members, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Pseudomonas fluorescens, and Pseudomonas putida. So they are pigmented, di ba, as we've mentioned in the start, for their general properties, and their color is medyo hamahambal nga yellow-green or green. Basically, this pigment is called pyoverdine. Yellow-green or yellow-brown pigment, it's water-soluble, and this one is the fluorescing pigment. And your Pseudomonas aeruginosa, aside from the yellow-green nga pyoverdine, nga produce pag siya blue pigment, also water-soluble. You call this pyocyanin. So, pyocyanin plus pyoverdine, medyo blue-green or greenish gidya ang color of Pseudomonas aeruginosa. While other species can produce also red pigment called pyorubin, and brown or black pigment called pyomelanin. Okay, this is Pseudomonas nga colonies on Cetrimide agar. Cetrimide agar is the recommended culture medium for Pseudomonas. It's colorless, no, ang color niya. But ang balamong gidayon nga Pseudomonas ang nag-grow kay green ang colonies. Okay, they are also beta-hemolytic on your back. For appearance of colonies, it's flat, spreading with a characteristic metallic sheen in your back. Okay, it's fruity. Siya ni guro one of the hamot together with your honeysuckle or butterscotch odor nga S. aeruginosus group. The odor naman of P. aeruginosa, it's grape-like odor or fruity. The substance responsible is 2-aminoacetophenol. Again, it's thermophiles. It grows best at 42 degrees Celsius, and the recommended nga selective medium gid for Pseudomonas is your Cetrimide agar. Okay, ari siya in your back as compared to Staphylococcus epidermidis ni siguro, or aureus man ni siya. This one is Pseudomonas aeruginosa, a bit spreading, beta-hemolytic, as you can see, with a metallic sheet. Flat, okay? And on Cetrimide agar, actually, the color of the colony is medyo white na siya, but it turns si Cetrimide into green color. No, it's not Cetrimide, it's McConkie agar. They are non-fermenters. Colorless, but it turn green ang agar. Okay, then additional Pseudomonas fluorescens and putida, they have very low virulence. They can grow at 4 degrees Celsius. They are often linked to transfusion-associated septicemia. They are also capable of producing pyoverdine. The main difference between the two is the gelatin hydrolysis test, wherein positive si fluorescence, negative si putida. Okay, that's the fluorescence. Also capable man ni si Pseudomonas aeruginosa. All the three members of our fluorescent Pseudomonas group, if you expose it in a dark room, kag ma-flash ka UV light, mag-glow na sila green or yellow-green. Okay, so I will continue in part 3 for our remaining bacteria. Short naman lang ni siya, but I will just end here for our part